Between 1977 and 1990, one quiet fund manager averaged 29% a year, more than doubling the market for 13 straight years. If you had handed him $10,000, you would have pulled out almost $280,000. His name is Peter Lynch, and he ran the most legendary mutual fund in American history. Yet his single biggest idea was so simple that almost anyone could use it. Invest in what you already know, he said, and the best stock tips are hiding in plain sight at the mall. This is the story of how a caddie from Boston became the greatest stock picker of his generation. Peter Lynch is born in 1944, and his father dies of cancer when Peter is just 10 years old. To help his struggling family, the young boy takes a job caddying at an exclusive country club. On that golf course, he overhears wealthy executives casually talking about the stocks they own. He notices the stocks they brag about keep going up, and a lifelong obsession quietly begins. One of the club's members happens to be the president of the investment giant Fidelity. That connection lands Lynch a summer internship at Fidelity while he is still a college student. After college and a stint in the army, he earns an MBA from the prestigious Wharton School. In 1969, Fidelity hires him full-time as a research analyst studying metals and chemicals. He grinds for years, visiting companies in person and asking relentless, unglamorous questions. Then in 1977, Fidelity hands him a small, obscure fund called Magellan to run on his own. At the time, Magellan holds just $18 million and almost nobody has even heard of it. Over the next 13 years, Lynch grows that tiny fund into a $14 billion giant. It becomes the single best-performing mutual fund in the entire world. And he does it not with secret formulas, but with a simple habit anyone can copy. Lynch believes ordinary people see winning companies long before Wall Street analysts ever do. If a restaurant is always packed or a product is flying off shelves, that is real, early data. His wife actually tips him off to a new pair of pantyhose called Legs sold in grocery stores. He investigates the parent company, invests, and it becomes one of his most profitable picks. He hunts for what he calls 10-baggers, stocks that rise to 10 times what he paid for them. He finds them in boring, overlooked places, donut shops, motels, funeral homes, and waste companies. He buys Dunkin' Donuts simply because he loves the coffee and the stores are always busy. He bets on a near-bankrupt Chrysler in the early 1980s and the turnaround makes a fortune. At his peak, Lynch holds an astonishing 400 different stocks inside Magellan at once. Critics say that is far too many to follow, but Lynch knows the story behind every single one. He works brutal 80-hour weeks, reads thousands of reports, and visits hundreds of companies a year. His rule number one is brutally simple: never invest in a business you cannot explain in one sentence. He warns that buying a stock without doing the homework is like playing poker without looking at your cards. He uses a simple gauge comparing a company's growth rate to the price you pay for its earnings. And he hammers one warning: the most dangerous words in investing are, "It is different this time." Before buying anything, Lynch sorts every company into a handful of simple buckets. There are slow growers, the big sluggish giants that barely move from one year to the next. There are stalwarts, huge reliable companies like Coca-Cola that grow steadily and rarely crash. There are fast growers, the small aggressive companies that can become his beloved 10-baggers. There are cyclicals like automakers and airlines that boom and bust with the economy. And there are turnarounds and asset plays, beaten down companies, hiding real value underneath. Knowing the category tells him exactly what to expect, so he never confuses a sluggish giant with a rocket. Then comes the ultimate test of his nerve. Black Monday, October 1987. In a single day, the stock market collapses by 22%, the worst single day in its entire history. Magellan loses about a third of its value almost overnight, billions of dollars gone in mere hours. Lynch is on vacation in Ireland when the panicked phone calls start flooding in. He does not panic, and he refuses to dump his best companies into the teeth of the crash. Within 2 years, the market fully recovers, and the investors who simply held on are richly rewarded. His list of winners reads like a tour of ordinary American life. He scores big on Taco Bell, on the La Quinta motel chain, and on the auto parts retailer Pep Boys. The mortgage company Fannie Mae becomes one of his single biggest wins of the entire decade. Again and again, the pattern holds. Ordinary products hiding extraordinary returns. Lynch has firm rules for selling too, and they have nothing to do with the daily price. He sells only when the company's underlying story actually breaks, never just because the stock dips. He warns against falling in love with the stock because the stock does not even know that you own it. He tells investors to water the flowers and pull the weeds. Add to your winners, cut your losers. As Magellan swells past $10 billion, its sheer size starts to quietly work against him. A small winner can no longer move such an enormous fund, and the hunt grows harder every single year. Through it all, Lynch refuses to predict the market, calling market timing a fool's errand. He says more money is lost preparing for crashes than is ever lost in the crashes themselves. By 1990, Magellan is so enormous that running it consumes nearly every waking hour of his life. He is barely seeing his wife and 3 daughters, and he remembers that his own father died young. So at the absolute top of his career, at just 46 years old, Peter Lynch suddenly walks away. He retires from managing money to spend time with his family and give much of his fortune away. Then he writes a book called One Up on Wall Street to teach ordinary people his entire method. It sells over 1 million copies and becomes one of the most beloved investing books ever written. His core message is radical. The small investor actually has an edge over the big Wall Street pros. You can buy a great company the moment you notice it, while a giant fund needs months to move in. So what exactly can an ordinary investor steal from Peter Lynch's 29% record? First, just like Peter Lynch, invest only in what you genuinely understand and the products you use. Second, always do the homework and never buy a company whose business you cannot explain simply. Third, stop trying to time the market because not even Wall Street can reliably predict the next crash. Fourth, be patient because the best companies often take years to become true 10-baggers. And finally, remember that your everyday life is a constant stream of free, valuable investment ideas. Fifth, you do not need every winner because just a few 10 times 10 baggers can carry an entire portfolio. Sixth, a stock is not a lottery ticket. Behind every ticker is a living, breathing business you can study. Seventh, watch what a company does with its cash and favor the ones carrying little or no debt. Eighth, small, nimble companies in dull, boring industries often hide the very best returns of all. He reminded everyone that you have plenty of time because truly great companies stay great for many years. He said the investor who turns over the most rocks wins, so study 100 companies if that is what it takes. And he insisted that a little plain common sense beats a fancy computer model almost every single time. Investing, to Lynch, was never gambling. It was patient detective work that almost anyone could learn. Over 13 years, Peter Lynch showed that fortunes are made by the few who simply stay invested through the fear. Peter Lynch proved that you do not need a Wall Street office to beat Wall Street at its own game. You just need curiosity, patience, and the discipline to actually look at what is right in front of you.